Welcome to The Author's Journey with #1 international best-selling author and in-demand publisher, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. Today, we'll showcase the works of an amazing best-selling author, find out the story behind their book, and explore ways to bring your message powerfully forward. Now, here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. I'm honored to be connecting in with you on The Author's Journey, where we have candid conversations with best-selling authors. Some are international, some have published multiple books. It's an opportunity for us to really learn, what is the journey like? What does it take to bring a book forward or multiple books forward? And how do we bring them forward in a way that they become best-selling books? And what is that like? What does it take? How do we do that? So I'm very excited to welcome you today to our show with the amazing Jean Walters. I'm going to share a little bit about her. I know you will love her energy and heart and spirit. And she has brought forward multiple books. So we're going to get to tap into this expertise of really bringing multiple books forward and more to come. So she's really been able to master the process of bringing books from idea all the way forward to reality, to having them received as bestsellers into people's hands and hearts. And that's really powerful. So one of the stats I heard recently, they were saying approximately 2,000 books are being released every day. So to be able to release I know it's amazing. I love that we have all this content coming forward to make a difference in the world, but with so much content coming forward, it's important, listeners, how are you having things stand out so they reach that best-selling status, so they can reach the hands and hearts. So as I introduce Jean and you get to know her a little bit, have your paper and pen ready, so that you can take notes and you can learn from this amazing expert who has successfully brought so many books forward and many more to come. I've gotten some previews of some of the things that will be coming soon. And this is an opportunity, listeners, for you to be poured into, to learn, to be filled up and encouraged on your journey as a writer. So let's take a breath as we connect in. Create that space to hear and receive. Have your pen and paper ready to take notes as those downloads or insights come. And with that, let me introduce our amazing guest. Jean Walters has been at the forefront of the movement for personal transformation, clarity, and truth for over 30 years. Her commitment is to the deepest truth and to bring people to the light within. She has guided thousands of clients and students with her work. She is an international best-selling author, syndicated radio show host, heard in over 110 markets, and author of 5 books so far and more to come. Please lean in and warmly welcome the dynamic and powerful and gifted Jean Walters to the show. Welcome!
Yay, I'm here. Thank you. And by the way, that's 6 books.
6 books. Oh my goodness. See, I'm even losing track. Yay, 6 books.
It's a moving target, you know.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Exactly. I love that you have been so successful, there we go, at bringing multiple books forward. I think you've just really mastered that. And many people struggle to bring one book forward, and now you've done not just 5, but 6. And I know there are more in the works. So I have questions about this. So the first is, why have you been compelled to bring some of the work that you do in the world of making such a powerful transformational difference to books? Why did that become important to you?
Well, I've been teaching all my life. I've been teaching since I was a very young girl. When I have a twin sister, and she was always a little bit behind me. So I was always like, Jean, go teach Jane. Jean, go help Jane. So I learned to teach when I was a really young person, and I would always come up with ways to instruct her with a principle she wasn't getting as well as I was, and I would try different methods to teach her. And then I learned early that if one thing doesn't work, then you try something else until you find the little button that person can get that information. And so I've been doing that really all my life as a coach and as a teacher. And the thing I love is to share. I love sharing information with people. I think there's a dynamic behind that, because when information comes into you and you're learning and growing, and then you have to share it out to other people to make room for more to come in. And it's like a universal law. If we don't continually share, then we're kind of blocking the flow of what comes into us. So one of the things I've learned is that, I let Spirit speak to me. And so the last book is called Deep Truth, Wisdom of the Masters, Reality and Illusion. And that was given to me. So, I kept asking, is that the right title? Is that the title you want? And I was asking Spirit that question, and that's what I kept coming back with. So the thing is, a lot of this will come to me. So I meditate every day, and many times the subject will come through to me, and I just write. And so one of the things that I would suggest to writers is that they trust themselves and let themselves write whatever it is that they're feeling, and then later they can go back and edit it, for spelling and so forth. But let the flow come to you, and don't interfere with it, but just let it show up and come to you. And then I think you'll find a certain rhythm that goes with that kind of writing. You'll begin to notice that. And I think it's such an easy way to let it flow. But everybody is an expert in their own way. And so what is it that you're an expert on? And then let that be the flow that comes through to you. My expertise is in metaphysics and spirituality, and that's what I've been teaching forever. And so those are the things that I write about to help people sort of make that deeper connection. That's what's important to me.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I love that. And there are some notes I was taking as you were talking. Yeah. And when I wasn't questioning it, I was listening to the flow. I want to apply what you're sharing. But I really love this concept of we're given these insights and information, and it's so important that we share, and that sharing helps others, but also creates more room and space for us to bring in and receive more so we can share more. So stopping that flow is kind of, or holding back or not releasing it, that someday thing can actually stop information flow and insights from coming. I think that's really important for us to know. Yes,
and I call it spiritual constipation. When you keep going to classes and receiving and reading books, but you're not finding your own way to give it away, and it could be, sometimes we can become so zealous that we attack people with our knowledge. But I think there's always a way to give it in that's appropriate. Like even if you volunteer somewhere and you just help people by your information and knowledge, that those are ways. It doesn't have to be a book, for particularly. It could be any way of sharing that is helpful.
Beautiful. Lifting up, not tearing down, but lifting up. It's good. I like spiritual constipation. I haven't heard that term before, but I think it fits perfectly for that kind of holding on and not releasing, not sharing. And then the other piece I think that was really, really insightful that you shared was about tapping into that flow and just writing. Don't overanalyze, just receive, capture, get into that rhythm of writing, and then you can come back and read the information, decide what to do with it, whether it's in speaking or writing or sharing it in some other way, but don't overanalyze it. Just receive and let it flow through you. Anything you'd add to that?
Well, I think that sometimes writers can be perfectionistic, and I think that really gets in the way because it's more ego-based. And not to say that we don't want to produce good work, but I don't think we have to be perfectionistic in that, because everybody has a style to the writing. And, I my style is kind of flowing, and I'm a teacher, so it'll come through in ways that people can adapt to these methods, or they can, recognize the method I'm offering them, and maybe they can even change it a little bit, but it offers a way to get into the principle that I'm teaching. But everybody has their own style, and I think you have to just go with yours and watch out for the ego stepping in and wanting everything to be so perfect, and it really gets in the way, because there's a difference between writing in a flow and writing like everything has to be perfectly placed. Sometimes writing like that is so boring to me, where I just can't even read it, because it's so straight and tight, and it's just hard to take in knowledge like that. So I think you can look at the books that you really love, and then you'll see, what is it about that book that you really love? And oftentimes it's just that the knowledge just kind of comes. It flows in a way that you can receive it in your heart. And I like to read books from my heart. And I notice that some people read them from their head. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
absolutely.
But reading it from your heart, you receive a different message than if you read it from your head. Sometimes we get so intellectual with things that we don't, we're just adding to a pile of, knowledge that's intellectual, but it's not really applicable to our life. And I'm always about the practicality of it. How can we apply this to our life situation? How can we change ourselves and be better? So that's what I'm always looking for.
Oh, thank you. This is really, really great. We are getting ready to go to our first commercial break, and as we do that, listeners, I want you to take a moment and really take in what Jean has been sharing, and these are some really great tips about paying attention to that flow and even how you're reading, taking in information, and are you reading from your heart, and are you writing from your heart and spirit? So really looking at some of those things and feeling in. We will continue our conversation in just a moment.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message. Explore the poetry of Sam Yao. His book of poems, Soul's Journey, is a #1 international bestseller. Sam is a contemporary poet with a unique and highly relatable poetic style to convey the essence of spiritual truths for our time. Readers will find beauty, inspiration, and healing in his words. Get his book, Soul's Journey, today on Amazon.com or visit samyaupoetry.com. That's Sam, Y-A-U, poetry.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, an opportunity to really take in all of that information from Jean. And I love the emphasis of flow. How are you tapping into the flow? How are you listening, hearing? Where are you writing from? Are you allowing that content and information to flow to you, in you, and through you? So really great things to reflect on. And we shared in the opening how Jean has brought forward 6 books now, and I know there are more in the works. And I wanted to walk through her most recent book, just to get to share about it a little bit, because we were excited about it, want you to know about it. But secondly, it's a great example of some of these things that she was talking about, kind of, she's given you the way to do it, and she did that and can kind of walk you through it in this book that she most recently brought forward. So, do you mind, I know you shared the title in the opening segment, would you mind sharing the title of your most recent book that became an international best-selling book here in October?
Yes, I would love to. It's called Deep Truth, Wisdom of the Masters, Reality and Illusion. And then the subtitle is Practical Steps to Understand the Universe, Master the Mind, Develop Intuition, Deepen Wisdom, and Live an Inspired Life. You think I'm taking on a lot there?
And it's a very full title. I know, and a full subtitle, and then a subtitle. So there were quite a few words there, but you were deliberately led to what to call it, what to have it. I know you felt in. Do you mind describing that process you went through a little bit for people that are trying to figure out, what do I call my book? How do I title it? How did you do that?
Well, first of all, work on something that you really understand. But because I meditate every day, I'm always getting messages, and so I always keep a tablet and pen nearby. And then sometimes when the flow starts, and I don't always know when it's going to happen, but when the flow starts, I just grab my pen and notebook and just start writing. And I write and write until it's done. So it's a flow that starts and it's a flow that ends. And then I'll type that up and then edit it. And then I'll see where it's supposed to go. For instance, I was thinking about an introduction to this book, and when in meditation, it came to me because it came from a teacher that I had in high school, and how after I was telling him how I was depressed and I didn't know what I could do in life, that I felt like I couldn't live the life everybody else was living, and I was really depressed about it because I didn't know what to do next. And he said to me, and this came when you read the introduction, you'll feel it, but when he said to me, Jean, life is like this circle, and he drew a big circle on a piece of paper, and he said, Jean, everything inside the circle represents what you know, and this line that goes around the outside of the circle represents what you don't know. And look what happens when you expand what you know, and see how much bigger the line around the circle grows. And I was so excited with that because he sort of gave me my answer, because I knew that I couldn't live the life everybody else lived, but I also knew that if I could just keep growing, then I'd be okay. And so it's like a redeeming factor or something. He really helped me, and just with that little comment. So that flow, that reminder of that incident came to me in meditation, and all the words were there, and they just came out with my wish for others that they have someone in their life that draws that same circle for them, or maybe they can do it themselves. Because we all are here with so much to do and so much to give, and it's just exciting when we understand that part. And it's not about how big your audience is or how many people like you or any of that. It's really about your heart. And that's what I want to emphasize. The whole book is about my heart. So everything in this book is heartfelt, and much of it has come to me in that particular way. So, that's an exciting process to be in, and I would just suggest anyone who's willing to go deep within themselves, because that's really what you have to do. You have to go deep within yourself and kind of push aside the ego and the worry about, will people like it, will people reject it, whatever. It's really none of your business, because what you're here to do is to share the truth in whatever form that takes for you. And and then if some people are going to like it and some people aren't, and that's just life,
I love that. I don't know that I've ever heard you share the circle story with me, so I am excited to hear that, and the opportunity that not only we can expand our circles, but we can help expand the circles for others. I mean, just what a privilege and an opportunity we all have. And I love this example you're walking us through of tapping into the flow, really carving that time out, listening, capturing that information, and then following where it goes. So kind of trusting that with the heart and with the spirit.
Yes. Well, we all have a guide within, and that's really what it's about, is listening to that inner guide. But when we're listening, when we've got the ego going and, all the ways that we want approval and so forth, when we got that going, it's hard to listen to something deeper than that. So a lot of our work is to recognize when the ego's in the way and just push it aside.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Well, your book was, you decided to do a best-selling campaign, which means there's a process that you go through to bring the book forward, let people know about it, and then a special raid, and it's released. And the best-selling campaign, the actual campaign part with the special raid goes pretty quickly. And is high energy, lots of interaction, and your book was received really well. It became an international best-selling book in the U.S., Canada, France. It reached 20 best-selling categories, including #1 in the U.S., so very well received, multiple countries. And what was, I guess, one, why did you decide that was important to do for your book? And two, what was that like, bringing your book forward in that way?
Well, first of all, I thought it was important because this is a profound book, and there's a lot of really important things in this book for people in their growth. And so I wanted to reach out to as many people we're in this time of growth right now. We're in a huge time of transition in the world right now, which we all feel. We all don't understand it, but we do feel it. And so this is going to help people with practicality on how to maneuver this time of change. And so it's really important that they have some keys and some steps to take, and that's what the book is about. And also, I felt like doing a bestseller campaign would be the way I could actually reach out the furthest, because you're much better at the marketing part than I am. I can write, but I'm not the greatest marketer, and that's true with a lot of authors, by the way. But anyway, so you call for help. That's what we do. We have people on our team, and so I consider I'm on your team and you're on my team.
Exactly, and I love that we don't have to do all of it on our own, and we can tap into respective strengths so that we can really focus in our area of expertise and bring it forward.
Yeah.
And I love that you were looking at your book and what you're bringing forward and what is the best way to reach more people, because I know that was on your heart to do. So we were very honored to be part of that. And what was it like now? This isn't the first time you've done a best-selling campaign. It isn't your first book, but yet.
No, this is the third time I did a best-selling campaign, and the second time with you, but the third time. So I have 3 books that are bestsellers. Yep. And I just found that it's a really good way to get the word out. And if people, obviously I can write, but I'm not the greatest at getting the word out as far as it could go out. And so that's where I build a team. And I think that's important to people know that we need a team. We can't, I don't expect myself to know everything. I certainly don't change the tires on my car or grow my own vegetables. So, I have a team for that too. And so why not have a team to go with, helping you in your career as far as writing or teaching or whatever it is that you choose to do.
I love it. Oh, and you've done this. So third time you've done a best-selling campaign. And I love that you found that's something that is very supportive of you and bringing your books forward. Was it still exciting as an author? Did any, what was that like for you?
I think I would say 2 words: very exciting, but also a little bit exhausting too. Okay. And the reason for that is because there's, I directed a lot of attention to, following your lead and doing the things that were necessary. So, and I think when you're very excited, it's also very exhausting because there's a high energy, and then at some point you're diminished. But you have to learn how to ride that like you're riding a roller coaster. I mean, you have to learn how to ride that. And a lot of people live their life way up, and then they are shocked when they fall down. But I think when you learn how to ride that wave, it becomes a lot easier, because life is a lot of, ups and downs. They don't have to be monumental, but it's just that you learn how to balance yourself as you go through it. Yeah. So I love it. I loved it, and I really loved the idea that it was sharing out to different countries. And, my whole thing has been about, let's change the world, but let's do it together.
Yes. I love it. Thank you for sharing. And I'm glad it's something that you continue to enjoy as you do it.
Yes.
And it has that, that high energy for you as well as you bring it forward. And I'm also curious, as we look back, because again, I feel like you have mastered bringing books forward, bringing content forward. Like you've got a system, you have a way that works for you to capture information. You have that flow going really well for you. Are there any suggestions you have beyond tapping into the flow that you would encourage people who are thinking of, if you think back to maybe that first book when you were first bringing it forward, any surprises or things along the way that stopped you and how you were able to navigate through, or advice that you'd give around that for people that multiple books feels a little daunting right now. They're working on that first one.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I've written a lot of my professional life. I've written, and so I'm going to tell you a little story about how I actually got started with publishing it, my work, because I was meditating one day, and the voice that spoke to me said, "Write a column." And I went, okay, write a column. All right. So, because I never say no to the voice. I always say yes to the voice. So I wrote 6 columns. I wrote about 350-word columns. I wrote 6 of them. And I thought, okay, now what am I going to do with these? And so I was sending them out to these little newspapers around St. Louis. And then my friend said to me, Jean, I don't get it, what you're doing. You don't ever start at the bottom. You always start at the top. So why are you sending them to these little papers? And I went, oh, good thought. She's right. So we had 2 major papers in St. Louis. So I sent it to the first paper, the biggest one. I sent this column. It was called The Game of Life. And then actually the guy that was in charge of the special columns, I don't remember what his title was, he said, I really like your column, but I don't have room for it in the paper. And I thought, okay, he really liked my column. That's the part I remembered,
Yep.
And then I thought, okay, well, let me. And by the way, one of my clients told me, he said, I know the guy that cuts trees for the guy who runs the whole paper, and I put a word in for you and all that. And so he actually, that's why he read it, because I had somebody that was putting a word in for me. And then I thought, well, I'm going to go to the next paper then. So I sent it to this is important here. So I sent it to the second paper, the second big major paper. And the guy in charge of the features saw it. He said, I really like your column, but I didn't have room for it in the paper. But today, the paper decided they were going to publish a morning paper and an evening paper. So that means I have room to put your column in the evening paper that day.
Wow.
So he started publishing my column in the evening paper, weekly column, and I got some really nice feedback and stuff from that. And so that was like such a universal spiritual event. But then since then, I had a column that I published in about 4 to 5 different papers over the years, and but that's how it got started. And then from there, I would just meditate and then write the column. And that's exactly how I wrote every column. I would just meditate and write it. What do you want to say today? And then I would write the column. So that's how I got started with the writing on a professional level.
I love that, though, because I like that starting at the top instead of the bottom. I love that you followed that. and that you chose what to focus on. When they said, I really like your column, but I don't have room, you didn't like, well, too bad. You just thought, wow, they really like my column. Next paper.
Exactly.
I let me go find where it's supposed to be. And following that path, I think is really powerful and great advice and tips for all of us, because sometimes that we hear the no more loudly, or this isn't it, and we get disheartened instead of hearing the power of what you were told too and pursuing that.
Well, the idea too is that when, I don't know how other people do it, but when Spirit speaks to me, I follow. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people second guess it, and they just, that can't be right, and they don't have the confidence. But to me, it's my guide. And so when Spirit speaks, I know it's right. And I think that's one thing I can share with other people, is that when Spirit speaks to you in your intuition, in your heart, then know that it's right. There's something about it that's right. So don't doubt it.
Yeah. And just trust and follow. Beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. Trust and follow. Yeah, and so if the first one isn't right, then go to the second and the third and the fourth, But there will be a place. One of the last places I placed my column was in the suburban journals in St. Louis County, and there's a huge readership there. And I called the editor, and I said, I have a column, and he said, oh my gosh, the person that was writing a column similar to yours, we just let go, and so you've got the column. I mean, just like that, boom.
See?
So we have to trust universal timing is what I'm trying to say. When we're getting a message, there's a timing that goes with that, and we want to trust it.
Yes, and not miss the timing. Follow the timing too.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Each one of those things
timeliness.
was that day it happened. That was the day that I made the phone call.
I love it. Well, we're getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do that, listeners, I want you to think about what are some messages or prompting you've been getting, and just take a moment to feel and receive those and see about that timeliness, the time, that pushing, that pulling that you're feeling. Are you feeling that too? And just take a moment to fill in the next couple of minutes, circle those key things, and we'll come back to that at the end of the show.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message. Explore the poetry of Sam Yao. His book of poems, Soul's Journey, is a #1 international bestseller. Sam is a contemporary poet with a unique and highly relatable poetic style to convey the essence of spiritual truths for our time. Readers will find beauty, inspiration, and healing in his words. Get his book, Soul's Journey, today on Amazon.com or visit SamYaoPoetry.com. That's Sam, Y-A-U, Poetry.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you marked down a couple of things that you have been given, or a message, and feeling into that urgency, that timeliness to it, that you're really taking a moment to feel that, to acknowledge that, to not doubt, but trust.
Yeah.
And my extra credit bonus opportunity for you today is at the end of the show, take a couple of minutes for you to do just some final feeling in around the show and messages that are coming to you. And then look at your day, really look at those notes and take a moment to fill in what are the couple of key things that it's time to take action on today, and then take a step. So that's my extra credit bonus opportunity, because there's a reason you listened today. There's a reason that came through, that the conversation has followed the path that it has, and that it has spoken to you in the way that it has. So I want you to honor that. I want you to listen to that and to move forward now knowing what you know and what you've received, and the actions that are important for you to take based on that. And with that, I want to circle back in, Jean, and I thank you for following where you're led to share so much information with us today, so many really deep truths to empower and support us. I love that you walk the talk and talk the walk. Like it all ties together, right? It all ties together. Any final advice or tips that you have as you're reflecting on your journey of bringing multiple books forward? Anything on your heart that you want to let our listeners know today?
Well, one of the things that I would say is that pay attention to the stories that you're telling yourself. We have all made up stories. We look, somebody can look and frown, and then you can decide that means something. And actually, they're just looking and frowning. It has no meaning at all. And I think that we make up these stories that keep us blocked and tight and, inhibited. And I want to suggest that people just start paying attention to the stories they tell themselves and realize that they just made that up. It's not true at all. So a story is just a story. We can make up other stories and say, there is a place for my writing, and that is what my assignment is in this world. And we could follow that assignment and not let any of these stories get in the way. So just pay attention to the stories you tell yourself and decide if they're worth keeping or not.
I like that, because we can choose what we keep on our bookshelf and what we don't give space to. So I love that. And then I know that you have a special gift today for our listeners.
Yes,
I wanted to give you an opportunity to share about that.
Yes. Well, if people would contact me at my email, Jean, Jean, at spiritualtransformation.com. It's a singular, spiritualtransformation.com. And let me know that they heard the show, then I will send them the first 3 sections of the book. Deep Truth, Wisdom of the Masters. I will send them the first 3 sections of the book free. And I'd love to do that. And I think that will tweak their interest and also maybe give them some ideas to move forward with. That's beautiful. So I would love to do that. Jean at spiritualtransformation.com.
Wonderful. And is that also the best way for them to connect with you and go deeper? Are there some additional ways that they can follow you as well?
Sure. Well, that is definitely my website. My email address. That's for a good way to connect with me. But also through my website, and my website is www.spiritualtransformation.com. So they can check out all the things that I've done and my history and so forth, and connect with me that way. So I would love to hear from people. It has my phone numbers on the website, so it's easy to connect with me.
I love that. I love that you're so willing to be accessible. It's for people to work with and reach out and get support. I love that. And then I know that you also have some upcoming projects. And so I would love for you to share about that too. Yes.
Well, this is going to come out this week. Actually, I'll be sending it out through my newsletter and social media and such. But I am offering a book bundle for $49. It's 5 of my books, and one of them is Deep Truth, Wisdom of the Masters, The Journey from Anxiety to Peace, Find Your Passion, Be Outrageous, Do the Impossible, Set Yourself Free, Live the Life You Were Meant to Live, and The Power of Knowing. So I'm covering with those books, I'm covering a lot of different subjects of, overcoming anxiety, living in peace, and digging deep into your intuition and finding your right career, and just a lot of different things that will tweak with many people. But that bundle is going to be available starting this week, and which is in the end of November it'll be starting. And then all you have to do is contact me, and then I will we will work out a payment system for $49, 5 books. And it'll be my way to help you do your Christmas shopping or your holiday shopping or give yourself a nice gift.
I love that. So it could be one where it's one complete bundle that you give as a gift or you give as a gift to yourself. Or it could be where you split and share up the different books. But what an amazing collection for $49. So that's exciting. Everyone, you heard it here first. And they'll be able to find out about that on your website, I'm guessing, or they need to get on your list?
Once they connect with me, then I will include them in my list that I send out with all these different kinds of specials on it. And I do have classes to teach and things like that are available. So, yes, just all they have to do is connect with me, and then I will make sure they get on the right list.
Perfect. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Jean, for sharing with us today and providing so much great wisdom and insights and like special deals and gifts. We love that too. So thank you for making that available. And I do too. Well.
You know, the thing is, Rebecca, you cannot give things away without receiving more in return.
That's true.
So another little pointer, but you know, never worry about receiving. Once you give, it always comes back.
Yes. Oh, great reminder. And especially this season, I think it's important to remember that, because sometimes we can feel stretched a little bit thin, and just remembering that giving does make a difference, and it does come back to you, and it does create room for more. And listeners, I want to thank you so much for tuning in and joining us today. I hope you've gotten some great tips and advice to support you on your author's journey. And do take those couple of minutes at the end of the show today to really reflect in and choose a couple of things that you are going to take action on today to support you. Follow that prompting that you're being given to bring forward those things you're called to bring forward. If we can help you in any way, we're always happy to do so. You can reach out to me at Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com, or you can go to the website, yourpurposedrivenpractice.com, and there's a button you can click saying Meet with Rebecca, and I'm happy to do so. I wish you great success. Have a happy and safe holiday season, and I will look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you for tuning in to The Author's Journey. Please join Rebecca Hall Gruyter for another edition of the Author's Journey podcast every Monday on the Voice America Variety Channel. And until we talk again, use some of the tips and inspiration from today's show to guide you as you lean in to bringing your message forward.